Hi, thank you for visiting my channel today. My name is Casey, and this is Coffee and Chaos Gardening with me, Casey. This is my first YouTube channel, and I really wanted to kind of create it as a way for me to keep track of our gardening, but also as a way for me to give you guys tips and also receive tips from you all for my garden so that I can produce more food for me, my husband, and other family as well. So I really wanted to start this by giving you a little background on me, who I am, where I am, and my gardening experience. So this is Cookie. Cookie is one of our dogs here. We have two. We have Cookie, who is an almost 9-year-old Lab Collie mix, and then we have Patches, who is she'll be 14 in November. Pit mix, and she'll probably hop up here at some point and say hello to you guys too. So I am married. I've been with my husband for about 6.5 years, married for about a year and a half or so, a little shy of a year and a half. I grew up just outside of Philadelphia in Pennsylvania, and then I did move into Philadelphia for maybe 7 or 8 years before meeting my husband while I was living in the city, and then eventually moving back out to the suburbs with him. So I am currently in zone 6B, right on the border of 6B and 7A. So if you want to follow as far as like time and scheduling of the year with planting along with me, those are the zones that I'm in so you can keep track. I am not an expert gardener by any means. However, I have gardened to a very small, limited degree for my entire life. I would visit my grandparents in the summer who lived in upstate New York, and they always grew like a ton of tomatoes. They'd have 40 or 50 tomato plants, and then we would jar the tomatoes at the end of the season, and that's what they would use when we came back up again at, say, Christmas, to make sauces and things like that for us. I can remember my first house that I lived in when I was very young. I only lived there until I was about 9, growing watermelons and things like that. We dug up a patch, and then I can remember in my teens, in my second house, digging up a patch in the backyard and kind of taking that initiative myself to plant a bunch of tomato and pepper plants. Even when I lived in the city, I would always have a window with 5 or 6 pots with different herbs and plants in it. So it's always just been something that I really enjoy. It's a stress reliever for me. It just is peaceful for me, and it's a healthy hobby. So that's why we're here. I'm here really to just kind of show you my experience, make mistakes with you, learn from you, hopefully teach you some things as well. And if anything else, like, really, I just want other people to feel comfortable to get out and garden and know that everybody has a green thumb. It's just a matter of doing your research and trying your best and doing it, right? The more you do it, the better you'll be at it. And even if it's just 1 or 2 tomato plants that you want in pots on your patio, I can help you with that. So please leave me comments with your questions, and especially with your tips. That's greatly appreciated. Basically, what I really want this channel to be is just once or twice a week, I want to come out in the morning for my garden, and I want to bring you guys with me. So I come out every morning to my garden with a cup of coffee, and I just check it out. I see how it went through the night, what's grown in the past day. Has anything gotten into our garden? So we'll deal with pests together. We'll deal with pruning together. We'll deal with harvesting together, and all of that stuff. So currently, right now, what I have in my garden is I've planted radish, I've planted spinach, lettuce, beets, onions, carrots. We've got some wildflower going, some lavender going, and then in pots I have an artichoke plant that I'm starting for. This is its first year, so I'm not really expecting to get much out of that, but maybe we'll do something on artichokes later as the plant hopefully grows. I've got strawberries in a pot, and then as seedlings that I'm getting ready to plant later this week as the weather gears up, I've got, and there's my chaos. I've got, hi Patches, way to make an entrance. I've got zucchini, cucumber, tomato, a couple different varieties of tomato, a couple different varieties of bell pepper. We've got pepperoncini peppers growing. We've got corn started. We've got potatoes in the ground, actually, in the boxes actually already. Brussels sprouts, broccoli, celery. So we've got a full garden as well as herbs. I've got basil, I've got fennel, I've got dill, sage, chives, green onion, rosemary, oregano, thyme. So we've got a lot of stuff going already this year, just waiting to get out there. Unfortunately, this year in PA, we just had that cold front. So today is the Monday following Mother's Day, which in our area, we usually plant on Mother's Day. Mother's Day weekend is the weekend to plant. That's when we're almost always clear of a frost. However, we've got tonight and the following 2 nights, we've got lows down into the low 30s. The other night the low was 30 degrees, so I think tonight is 35. So we've been covering our plants and keeping the seedlings inside. I'm thinking this coming weekend we'll finally be able to plant. We've got temperatures at 50 plus from that point forward. So really excited to get everything out in the ground, and I'll show you how that goes as well. And yeah, why don't I take you on a tour of the garden, show you around so you have an idea of what we're working with. And thank you so much for being here. And if you're interested in following along with me this year and keeping track of our garden and helping me and me helping you, I'd love it if you subscribed to the channel and left me a comment on this video. Thanks so much. So let's start the tour. Start you off with a look at some of our plants that we have potted or seedlings that we're getting ready to put out. So as you can see, these are a lot of my herbs that are already potted, and they're actually going to stay in these pots. I don't want to plant them in the raised beds because I don't want them taking over. So we've got thyme, oregano, parsley, sage. This is fennel herb, basil. That's my lavender. These are yellow pepper plants that I did not start these from seed. I picked them up from a local gardener, and I wasn't really paying attention when I grabbed them. So you can see some of the leaves are pretty damaged. So we'll see how those make out this year. These are some more onions that I actually need to get out into the garden. Tomato plants that we bought. So we had a hard time getting seeds this year because with quarantine, it was difficult to go anywhere, and then everything sold out. So we did buy some. A lot of them we started, you can kind of tell what we started from seed and what we purchased ourselves based on the pots. But that's what we're working with. Hi, Patches. Hello. This is my artichoke plant. I have a little rose bush. This actually just came from Valentine's Day, but I potted it and it's doing really well. And over here, we've got dill that I started from seeds, doing fairly well. Strawberry plant that I purchased and potted, and then a mint plant that I purchased and potted. This is my yard. So like I said, we've got 1/3 of an acre here, so it's not a ton, but it's enough for us to grow a bunch of food, and this is where we're doing that. So we've got the fence and the gate to keep the dogs out when we're not out here with them, but they actually really do love coming into the garden with us. Here she comes. So in here, like I said, we have 5 raised beds, so you'll see those. Okay. We had all this stone already from Cookie previously, so we brought that back here, and we actually had these pavers already too, so we put these here so we have a nice little area to sit. I painted those shutters yellow to brighten them up a little bit. We just need to clean up this whole back area still, but this is where I have our potatoes planted. We just planted them last week, so nothing is up yet. This is my first time growing potatoes, so we'll see. We're gonna put the corn here. Over here where Cookie is sniffing around. Hey, Cook. We've got a bunch of wildflowers sprouted there, hoping that attracts some bees for us. These are our radish, and we've got the second bunch of radish. This is a row of lettuce that I thought I could fit in. Our spinach is doing really well so far. This is another batch of lettuce. It's turning a little yellow, so I'm working on figuring that out. If anybody has any tips, I'd really appreciate it. Cookie, Life with Dog, actually jumped and landed in that spot where you see that bigger romaine growing. and killed our little lettuce seedlings in that spot. But this romaine had sprouted in our compost bin, so I pulled it out and I planted it. Why not? See if it actually grows. So that is another one of our boxes there. Maybe I can get down and show you how our radish are doing. But they're doing pretty well down there. So we're just waiting until they're ready to be harvested. In this box, we've got more wildflower here. And I put another row of beets in here. They're very tiny because I thought I could fit them in there. We've got onions here. You can see we've got onions coming up there. I have 12 more onions to plant, so I probably shouldn't have planted the beets, but oh well, too late now. I got ambitious and impatient. And then these are our beets. These were planted before the other beets, so they're a little bit bigger. This is where we'll put our broccoli. We're gonna plant our cucumbers up this trellis, which is actually just a cattle panel, which you can get for about, I think it cost me just short of $22. Zucchini will go over here, and we'll hopefully be able to trellis that as well. Not sure how that'll work out, we'll see. This is where I've got rosemary. All of those green onion were started. I know they don't look too great because a lot of them got windblown, but they were all started from grocery store scraps, chives. And this is where I'm gonna put a lot of my herb pots until maybe the zucchini plant hopefully doesn't take over. We've got carrots here. You can see some of them are actually starting to get their full leaves. So we're excited about that. I'm not sure what else I'm gonna put here. So we'll have celery here. I might have an extra broccoli plant that needs somewhere to go, so that might go here. I think I'm gonna do some sunflowers along the back here, and then also along the back there, and then this will be tomatoes and peppers. And here we have our sad little lavender plants. So these I purchased, and they came in and they really looked like they needed to get out of their pots. So I moved them out, but then we got those cold nights. So I actually lost one that was here. These two are still going, but they're not great. And then I've got that other one that I purchased that's in a pot that I'm gonna put here and hope that it survives. So that is our garden. And I've got a little bit of a compost bin over there, but I've kind of decided that I'm not gonna become an expert on compost this year. I've got enough to figure out. So that is our garden. That's the space that we're working with. It's quite a bit of space, 5 raised beds, all 4x8. So we are excited to get them all filled up with all those seedlings that I have and show you how they grow. Thank you so much for being here. Again, if you're interested in learning more or watching more about what we do, helping me learn, taking any tips that I can give you, making mistakes together, and just getting out there and doing it with me, please subscribe. I'd love to have you here, and leave me a comment so that I know you're here. Thanks so much.